Dear student, myself Rajendra Aseri. I am assistant professor in computer science department at Government Bangat PG College, Daytona. In previous class, we started a concept on transaction and management system under the subject database and management system. In that, we discussed what do you mean by transaction, basics of a transaction, asset properties, atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability. Then, when we perform a transaction, what are the various state possible in a transaction? So, transaction state we discussed like block state, partially committed, committed, abort. Okay, all these state we discussed. After that, we discussed about the concurrent execution of the transaction. So if we are performing uh, rather than performing the transaction fully and then starting the second transaction, that is called as serial schedule, we are just doing a partial part of the transaction then starting the new transaction in parallel manner, that is called as concurrent execution. So while we are performing concurrent execution, then there are some concept arises, that is serializability. In that we discussed conflict serializability and view serializability. Now in today's lecture, we will be discussing that how to test the serializability concept. Clear that a schedule is view serializable or conflict serializable, uh, yes or no. So in order to decide this, we are having a concept called as precedence graph. So today we are discussing about testing of serializability. After that, we will discuss about implementation of the recoverability. Means if a schedule goes into a failed state, then how to roll back that, how to recover that, and what are the various possible recoverable schedule. So all these concepts we are going to discuss in today's lecture. So first topic is testing for serial eligibility. Now consider some schedule of a set of transaction T1, T2 up to Tn. Suppose we are having a schedule T1 to T2, T2 up to Tn. There are various transactions are there. Now what do you mean by precedence graph? It is basically a direct graph. Directed graph means there are directed arrow, not undirected arrow. So a directed graph where the vertices are the transaction. If you see, the vertices are the transactions. So suppose in our current schedule there are two transactions T1 and T2. So T1 will be one vertex and T2 will be second vertex. Now we draw an arc from Ti to Tj if the two transaction conflict and Ti access the data item on which the conflict arose earlier. So we will make a arrow from Ti to Tj if the two transaction conflict, right? And Ti access the data item on which the conflict arose earlier. So we may label these like that as shown in the example. Now see, in schedule A and precedence graph both are written here parallelly. So if you see T1, T2, T3, T4 and T5, there are five transactions are there in this schedule. T1 first, T2 is started and T2 is performing read operation on the X. After that we are switching to T1. From T1 to we are switching to the T1. So if you see which transaction is completed first, if you see T2 transaction is done, okay, then second number, so first number T5 transaction is independent, so that's why T5, T1 transaction, T2 transaction, so there are four vertices corresponding to every transaction. Now if you see T1 to T2, there is an arrow from T1 to T2. Why T1 to T2 arrow? Because T1 part, some part completed, clear, and after that it is switching to what? T2. Okay, so we can say that T1 is after completing it, it is directing to the T2. And what do you mean by this arrow? This arrow indicate that we draw an arc from Ti to Tj if the two transaction conflict and Ti access the data item on which the conflict arose earlier. So if you see, there is some conflict arises between T1 and T2. That's why T1 to T2 one arrow is there, right? Similarly for T2 to T4 arrow is there, T3 to T4 arrow is there, and T1 to T3 arrow. So there are various conflict arises in this particular schedule and corresponding graph is depicting all these conflicts, right? Now if you want to test that there is a conflict serializability, yes or no, so a schedule is conflict serializable if and only if its precedence graph is acyclic. Acyclic means suppose T1 to T2, T2 to T3, T3, T4 and then T3 to again T1, then it is a cycle. So if there is no cycle in the graph, then we will say that it is conflict serializable, right? Now cyclic detection algorithm exists which take order n squared time, where n is the number of vertex in the graph. Now there are some algorithm which are the better algorithm which take order n plus e. At place of n square time they are taking n plus e, where e is the number of edges, right? Now if the precedence graph is acyclic, means there are no cycle present in a precedence graph, then the serializability order can be obtained by topological sorting of the graph. How to get this? So this is a linear order consistent with the partial order of the graph. Example, suppose a serializability order for schedule A would be T5, then T1, then T3, then T2 and then T4. T5, T1, T3. If you see T5, after that T1, then T3, T5, then T1, then T3, then T2 and then T4. So in this manner, this is the, are these others, means there may be some other possible order also. So if cycle is there, then we will say it is not a conflict serializable, right? So in case of serializability, we need to maintain the topological sorting. So here if you see Ti, Tj, Tk and Tm, this may be the topological sorting, or there may be some other order also, right? So now in order to test for the view serializability, what we need to do, the precedence graph test for conflict serializability cannot be used directly to test for the view serializability. So the precedence graph test for conflict serializability that cannot be used directly to test for the view serializability. Now extension to test for view serializability has cost exponential in the size of the precedence graph, right? The problem of checking if schedule is view serializable falls in the class of NP complete problem. There are various category in problems, like the problem that can be solved in polynomial time called as P problem, then NP, which is non-deterministic polynomial time problem. So basically serializability problem falls under NP complete problem. Thus, existence of an efficient algorithm is extremely unlikely, right? However, some practical algorithms that just check some sufficient conditions for view serializability can still be used. Now there are new concept, recoverable schedule. Now we need to address the effect of transaction failure on concurrently running transaction. Okay, what do you mean by recoverable schedule? So recoverable schedule is a schedule if a transaction Tj read a data item that is previously written by a transaction T of I, then the commit operation of T of I appears before the commit operation of T of J. Now there are some schedule 11, which is not recoverable if Ti commits immediately, right? Suppose T8 and T9 is given, T8 is doing read on A, then write on A. After that, T9 is reading the value which were written by the T8, and after that, the T8 again and reading the value of item B. Now, if T8 should abort, in order to abort the T8, T9 should have read and possibly shown to the user an inconsistent database state. If you see, T9 is depending on the T8, and if T8 is aborted, it means T9 is having still the value which were written by the T8, right? Write A operation, because after write A, T9 is reading the value of E. Clear? So in if T8 aborted and T9 is still present, then it is not recoverable. So it is an inconsistent database state, hence database must be ensured that the schedule are recoverable, right? So cascading rollback means a single transaction failure leads to a series of transaction rollback. Consider the following schedule where none of the transaction has yet committed, so the schedule is recoverable. If you see T8 transaction done, write A. Now this A value which is written by the transaction T10 is read by transaction 11, read A and then write A. Then this write A value which is written by the T11 will be read by transaction T12. So they are there is a dependency, right? If T10 fail, then definitely T11 and T12 will be rollback. That's why this type of rollback is called as cascaded rollback, right? If T10 fails, T11 and T12 must also be rollback. That's why it is called as cascaded rollback. Now cascadeless schedule. Cascadeless schedule means cascading schedule or cascading rollback cannot occur for each pair of transaction Ti and Tj such that Tj read a data item which is previously written by Ti, then the commit operation of Ti appears before the read operation of Tj. The concept is self-explanatory. Cascaded schedule means cascaded rollback cannot occur for each pair of transaction Ti and Tj such that Tj reads a data item which is previously written by Ti. The commit operation of Ti appears before the read operation of Tj. Now every cascadeless schedule is also recoverable. It is desirable to restrict the schedule to those that are cascadeless, right? Now concurrency control. A database must provide a mechanism that will ensure that all the possible schedules are either conflict or view serializable and are recoverable and preferably cascadeless. If there is a cascading, then what happen? There may be more and more rollback is there. So we need to ensure that there are less cascading is should be there, right? So the schedule should be preferably cascadeless and they should be conflict or view serializable. Now a policy in which only one transaction can execute at a time generates serial schedule, but it provides a poor degree of concurrency. Performance will be, throughput will be low. So are serial schedule recoverable or cascadeless? So this is the question arises. So testing a schedule for serializability after it has executed is a little too late. So our goal is to develop a concurrency control protocol that will assure the serializability. Now concurrency control versus serializability test. Concurrency control protocol allow concurrent schedule, but it ensure that the schedules are conflict or view serializable and are recoverable and cascadeless. Okay, so we need to ensure the concurrency control protocol allow us for the concurrent schedule, but they ensure that the schedules are conflict or view serializable and they are recoverable and cascadeless. Now concurrency control protocol generally do not examine the precedence graph as it is being created, right? So instead the protocol imposes a discipline that avoid non-serializable schedule. Very important. Rather than checking for the precedence graph, a protocol imposes a discipline that avoid non-serializable schedule. Now different concurrency control protocol provide different trade-off between the amount of concurrency they allow and the amount of overhead that they incur. Now test for serializability help us understand why a concurrency control protocol is correct. So okay, now weak level of consistency. Some applications are willing to live with weak level of consistency, allowing schedules that are not serializable. Example, a read-only transaction that want to get an approximate total balance of all the account. Example, database statistics computed for query optimization can be approximate. Such transaction need not be serializable with respect to other transaction. So there is a trade-off accuracy for the performance. Okay, so if the level of the consistency is weak, or for some application we are willing to live with weak level of consistency, then we need to allow the schedule that are not serializable. So that's all from this lecture. Thank you.